Hey everyone, welcome to the Developer Spotlight session. Let me just introduce you about GeekRoom and what Developer Spotlight session is. GeekRoom is a widespread coding community with over 25,000 active coders nationwide. The main objective is to create a transparent community where sharing of ideas and helping other people. Developer Spotlight session is a bi-weekly session by Geek Room held on every Saturday from 7 p.m. onwards, where students showcase their work and learn together. This is our fourth Developer Spotlight session. If you guys are learning something new, building cool projects, or improving skill, facing issue, this is the platform you can share it with others. Why do you join this session? Presenting here help you understand your concept better, improve your soft skills, build confidence, and get feedback and gain visibility for your work. Keep that in mind. You don't need to be an expert for this. All you need is just to be curious. Keep your cameras on, stay engaged, and free feel to ask the question. Also today we have Gargi joining us as the co-host for the session, and she will be handling the major part of this session. Give a huge round of applause for her. Now I would.
Hello
So
everyone,
now,
good evening. Hello everyone, good evening. Whoever is
evening.
present here, kindly mark your attendance in the Developer Spotlight document, whose link is provided in the Dev Talk section. Uh, the crew members mark your attendance in the crew section. Otherwise, the one who are not our crew part can mark their attendance in the community section. Any special announcements, if has made in the spotlight, will be marked in the announcement section. Our today's presenters, Farhan, Molick, and Krish, kindly mention your topic and link to your PPT and document in the spotlight section. If you have any feedback, you can mention it at the feedback or suggestion section. You can also connect with us on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Discord. All the links has been provided in the connect with us section. Other If you want to be a presenter in our another developer spotlight, you can fill the being a presenter form, whose link is also been provided.
Thank you, Gagi, for explaining all this information to the crew members and the community members. The link is shared in the chats. Please mark your attendance, all the presenter radio spotlights, topics, and you can share feedback if you have any. And we have also added links to connect with us. Do join us and stay connected. And we are starting the session. If you have any question, we will be there to answer. You can drop in the chat, so unmute whenever you want. All right. Today we have got some really interesting topic lined up. We will be covering three topics: Python libraries, inheritance abstractions, and basic of Linux. It will be going to the mix of programming concept and the practical knowledge. Let's jump and start with the first session. We will be covering in our first session of today's Python libraries, and specifically we will be covering pandas presented by Krish. And Pandas is one of the most popular libraries in Python, especially when it comes to working with data. If you are learning Python or getting into data related field, this topic will be really helpful for all. And let's welcome Krish and get started the session. All the best, Krish.
Hello everyone. Hello everyone. I am sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Good evening everyone. My name Krish from BCA first sem, uh, BCA first year. Today my topic on pandas in Python data analysis made easy. Introduction to pandas. Think of pandas as a super intelligent Excel assignment that lives inside your computer code. If you have a messy pile of data like a giant list of sales giant list of sales, a teacher grade books, or a weather report. Pandas is the tool that puts that data into a neat, organized table so you can work with it. There, there two types of pandas: series and data frame. Series dimensional label array capable of holding any data type. Uh, Data frame, a two-dimensional label data structure with columns of columns of potentially different types, much like a separate sheet or SQL table. Why Pandas is your go-to tool? Uh, Intuitive data handling. Easily work with structured tabular data similar to separate sheet or SQL tables. Powerful indexing and selection. Quickly access slices and dice your data using flexible indexing methods. Indus- Industry is standard है, widely adopted in data science, machine learning, finance, and academic research. Robust data operation, a built-in function for cleaning, merging, joining, reshaping, and formatting data sets. Uh, Understanding pandas series. A panda series is essentially a one-dimensional array with label of 10 siphon to has an index things or things or things of it has a single column of a separate sheet or a Python direction where value has a corresponding key. We have some hands-on on pandas. फर्स्ट ऑफ ये सीरीज का है। इसमें हमने पहले इंपोर्ट करा है पांडास एज सीरी। तो हमने एक सीरीज बनाई है 10 20 30 40 की, और उसमें हमने इंडेक्सिंग डाला है ABCD करके। तो अगर हम इसको हम रन करते हैं तो ये एक सीरीज फॉर्म करती है, 10 20 30 40 की। 10 30 40 की here here A B C D are the custom labels indexed for the values 10 20 30 40. You can access value by their position or their label. Um, Working with pandas data frame. The data frame is the most common used pandas object. It's a two-dimensional size, mutable and potentially uh, tabular data structure with label access, rows and column. It initially a collection of series object that share the same index. अगर हम इसको सिंपल लैंग्वेज में बोले, डेटा फ्रेम इज जस्ट अ सेपरेट शीट ऑफ रोज एंड कॉलम। इसमें हम डेटा फ्रेम क्रिएट करते हैं। इसका एंड जोन जैसे कि हमने पांडा से इंपोर्ट करके डेटा बनाया हमने, नेम, एज और सिटी। इस नेम, एज, सिटी के हमारे कॉलम्स के नाम हो जाएंगे, और हमने इसमें रोज को कॉलम के नाम हो जाएंगे। हमने फिर डेटा फ्रेम को हमने नाम दिया है डाटा। ये हमारा एक टेबल फॉर्म बन जाएगा, क्योंकि ऊपर नेम ए सिटी हमारे ये कॉलम हो गए, और ये जो नाम नाम और ये एज और सिटी के नाम है, ये हमारे रोज के अंदर रोज हो गए। 0 1 2 ये इनकी इंडेक्सिंग हो गई, और साथ में रोज के नाम हो गए। अगर हम उसके अंदर अगर हमें इसके अंदर कोई नाम हमें निकालना है कि हम कोई स्पेसिफिक नाम निकालना है, तो हम डीएफ स्क्वायर ब्रैकेट में नेम लिखेंगे, तो ये खाली नेम का कॉलम डिफाइन करेगा। नेम का कॉलम डिफाइन करेगा अगर हमने नेम लिखा। अगर हम स्पेसिफिक नेम लिखेंगे तो स्पेसिफिक एक ही नाम दिखाएगा। अगर हमें निकालना है कि एज उसकी 25 से ज़्यादा होनी चाहिए, तो हम उसके लिए हम लिखेंगे डी एफ स्क्वायर ब्रैकेट डी एफ स्क्वायर ब्रैकेट एज, एज ग्रेटर देन 25, वे स्क्वायर ब्रैकेट क्लोज कर देंगे। तो वो खाली जो 25 से ऊपर की जो एज होगी उसको वो दिखाएगा। जैसे कि अमित अमित की एज 30 है, उसे ही डिफाइन करेगा। और अगर हमें इसके अंदर अगर नया कॉलम ऐड करना है, तो हम टी एफ स्क्वायर ब्रैकेट सैलरी सैलरी इक्वल्स टू, और हम सैलरी डाल देंगे हम कुछ भी 50,000। हमने सैलरी कुछ भी डाल एंटर करेंगे तो इसमें हमारी सैलरी ऐड हो गई है। और अगर हमें डी एफ डॉट एल ओ सी डी एफ डॉट एल ओ सी एल ओ सी से ये टोटल वो बता देगा कि मैक्सिमम इसमें हमने जीरो लिखा है, मतलब कि पहली हमने इसमें जीरो इंडेक्सिंग हमारी पहले की, तो वो सबसे पहला रो का वो दिखा देगा कि नाम, एज, सिटी और सैलरी। उसकी वो पहले कॉलम पहले रो की वो दिखा दी इसने। ने कंडीशन दे दी कि हमें एज हमें चाहिए 25 की कौन सी एज ऊपर है उसको नेक्स्ट है इसमें हम डेटा one of the panda's most powerful features is its ability to read and write various data formats, particularly CSV files. This makes it ideal for quick data ingestion and analyze. By loading a CSV, you can instantly gain insight. इसमें हम दो चीज हम कर सकते हैं df dot head display the first few row given a snapshot of your data structure. Second है the df revenue uh, इसमें calculate the average revenue, a quick way to understand overall performance. अगर हम इसका करें df डॉट है उसमें हमें पहली 5 रो को डिफाइन करेगा वो हमें पहली 5 रो को डिफाइन करता है डिफाइन करता है नेक्स्ट था df डॉट हुआ नहीं पता नहीं नेक्स्ट है की एडवांटेजेस ऑफ यूजिंग pandas high performance optimize for speed and mm, optimize for speed and efficiency, especially with large da- data set, using data handling built-in tools to easy identify, remove or import missing values, uh, seamless intelligence work well as with other popular Python libraries like Matplotlib, Seaborn, and stick learner. Next is industry standard. So go to the library for data manipulation and presentation across various domains. Summary, your data align journey with Pandas. Pandas streamlines your data workflow from raw data to actionable insight. Mastering its core compute provide a strong foundation for any data drive carry part. Uh, Thank you, everyone.
Thanks a lot, Krish. That was really clear and easy to understand. You explained Panda in very simple way, and the hands-on part is really very helpful and well explained also. So this was definitely help anyone working with pandas and the data. Great job, Krish.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, mm, all right, everyone. Moving to our next topic. Now we have basics of Linux presented by Farhan. Many of us use Windows daily, and Linux can sometimes feel a bit intimidating, especially because of the terminal. So, but in today's session is all about understanding the fundamentals in simple way and beginner friendly way. So, if you have ever been curious about Linux or wanted to feel more comfortable using it, this session is for you. So, Farhan, stage is yours. You can start your session. Farhan, are you ready to present? I think you are mute. No, you are not audible. Same issue, Farhan. Maybe you can rejoin. Unmute yourself, Farhan. Still the same issue.
Maybe we can move on to the next presenter till then
Yeah,
Farhan can.
Molick. Okay. So, so we will be discussing about the basics of Linux at the end, maybe. And all right. So, next topic we have is abstraction and inheritance by Molick. So, these are very important topics in OOPS concept. You heard it very frequently, abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism, and so on. So sometimes they feel a bit confusing. So we will try to cover it in this session so everyone can simply understand in a clear and easy way. And this will help you a lot. So Maulik, over to you. Can we start your session?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, so good evening, and I'll be sharing about the Java fundamentals that lies at the core of object-oriented programming in Java, abstraction and inheritance. Uh, so inheritance. is a mechanism in Java where one class, the subclass or child, acquires the properties and behaviors of another class, which can be the superclass or parent. The keyword is extends. There is a rule: use inheritance only if you can say subclass is a superclass. Example: a Tesla is a car, a golden retriever is a dog. And here are some examples of inheritance where the parent class extends to the child class. And Java doesn't support multiple inheritance, as a child can't have two moms and dads to avoid the diamond problem. There are three types of inheritance in Java, mm, which is the single inheritance, multiple inheritance, and hierarchical inheritance. Mm. So then there is abstraction in Java, which helps in hiding the complex implementation details and shows only the essential features of Java. And its goal is to reduce complexity which can be faced in Java. For example, you know how to use a TV remote to change channels, but you don't need to know how the internal circuitry processes the signal. So it really helps to simplify the process. And how we do abstraction in Java: abstract classes, they use the abstract keyword. They are incomplete, so they cannot be initialized. Interfaces, 100% abstract contract that tells the class what to do but not how to do it. And there is a rule of thumb that you should use abstraction when you want to say all animals make a sound. But I'll let each specific animal decide what the sound is, and simplifying the situation. And there's a quick comparison of inheritance and abstraction. As inheritance focuses more on reusability, while abstractions helps with the security and the simplifying the complexity in Java. And inheritance uses the keyword extends, while abstraction uses abstract or interface. And the main goal of inheritance is to reuse the existing code, while abstraction helps to hide the internal details of the code so that the code is not too complex for someone to understand. Here are the examples. मैं एग्जांपल्स दूसरे डिवाइस से दिखा दूंगा, ऐसे तो और टाइम लगेगा. हेलो.
Yeah, sure. You can do that also.
ओके, एक सेकंड.
Are you still facing the issue, Farhan?
Just a minute. Here is an example of a single level of inheritance as the dog class extends the animal class. This is a multi-level inheritance as the puppy class also extends the dog class more. So there is a subclass in an already existing class, and this is a hierarchical class as the main class animal extends both another more subclasses from it like dog and cat, so it becomes the main class and these become the subclasses. Yeah, so the summary is inheritance saves time and makes code easier to maintain, and abstraction protects your code and makes it easier for others to use your classes. And don't over inherit. If a class only needs a tiny bit of another class, inheritance might not be the right tool. Yeah, uh, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Malik. That explanation really helped in clearing the difference between abstraction and inheritance. So these concepts are important for building strong fundamental to programming, and you explained them well. And if someone is still facing the issue in OOPS concept or in Java related or anything specifically in Java, you can just mention down the topics or any issue you are facing in the community so that we will be covering these topics in the next session. And maybe, okay.
Am I audible now?
Yeah, Farhan. Okay, let's welcome Farhan again. Give a huge round of applause.
So, good evening, everyone.
Good
Today, I'll
evening.
be presenting on the topic Linux Basics for Beginners. So, I'll start now. Am I audible?
Yes, everything is perfectly fine.
Okay. So, I'll be starting with this topic that is Linux Basics for Beginners. So, first of all, let's have a quick run through with the basics. Sorry, like the background info here. So, um, let me just read this script. Most of us will use Windows daily, but interestingly, most of the internet, the cloud servers, and even the Android phones, they run on Linux. Despite that, many of us still don't know, or like, even when we hear about, like, say, for instance, like using Linux or something regarding that, we sort of like quite get intimidated because uh, it sort of feels like, like many lines of code just running through the screen, and we can't understand that. We feel like that, but that's actually not the case, is what I'll try to explain today. So first of all, let's have a run through with a little bit of history regarding Linux. It was created by Linus Torvalds, sorry, and it is just for reference. So what happened was that at that time there was a really like a really popular OS called, called as Unix, which most of us are familiar with. But that software was proprietary software. So like just say that we had to like pay to use it. And this guy like Linus Torvalds, like he had let's say like he wanted an OS that like he could customize to like his needs and feels like whatever he wants. But the Unix OS did not, let's say, like satisfy what he was wanting, what he wanted from the OS. So for that, he created Linux, which is an open source software, let's say that. So anyone can contribute to it. Now that's just the history. And now let's continue with what we'll be discussing about today. The Linux kernel, the core philosophy, like all of this. The first thing is, what is Linux? And first of all, it's a common misunderstanding. Even I used to have it that Linux is an OS, when actually let's say in technical terms, it is not an OS. It's just a kernel, and a kernel is, as it's mentioned over here, is a core component that acts as a bridge between the hardware and the software. It is a core part of the operating system. So it's not really the operating system, it's a core part of it that acts as a bridge between the hardware and the software applications. Now what it manages is, as it's mentioned here, memory allocation and management, process execution and scheduling, device communication and input and output, file system organization and access. Now what Linux does have is distributions, distros. That is, when the Linux kernel is combined with the utilities, software packages, and a user interface, we get what are called as distributions or distros. These are the complete operating systems people actually use, and some popular ones are Ubuntu, Fedora, Debian, and Arch Linux. And the most basic one, the beginner friendly one over here is Ubuntu. And Fedora is a cutting edge distribution sponsored by Red Hat. Let's say like the ethical hackers, sort of like that, I think. And the Debian is the rock solid foundation that inspired in Ubuntu, emphasizing stability and free software principles above all else. Okay, and then Arch Linux is like this is mainly used by the cybersecurity experts and the ethical hackers. While Linux dominates the global infrastructure, despite most of the personal computers like running the Windows OS or the Mac OS, Linux powers the digital backbone of the modern world. Here's why it is preferred as a choice for the servers, cloud services, and development environments. Approximately 90% of all web servers worldwide run on Linux distributions, making it the backbone of the internet infrastructure. Android, which powers billions of smartphones globally, is built directly on the Linux kernel, extending Linux's reach into the mobile computing environment. Google Cloud, AWS, Azure, and other major cloud providers rely heavily on Linux for the infrastructure, containers, and services. And it is Linux is like consistently ranked as the top operating system for software developers, particularly for backend development and DevOps work. And some examples are given over here as well that the cybersecurity professionals they prefer Linux because of its transparency, granular control over the system permissions, and extensive security toolset. Back for the backend development, most of the web applications and APIs are developed, tested, and deployed on Linux servers, making it essential for full stack developers for DevOps and cloud. The containerization technologies like Docker and orchestration systems like Kubernetes run primarily on Linux distributions. So these are the three main or the core principles that Linux runs on. These three principles shape everything about how the Linux systems work and why they are so powerful. Number one, everything is a file. In Linux, virtually every system component from actual files to hardware devices, directories, and even system processes is treated as a file. This unified approach simplifies management, system management. For example, your hard drive, USB stick, or network connection can all be accessed through file-like paths. This abstraction means you can use consistent commands and tools to interact with different types of resources, whether you are reading a text file or configuring a printer. We'll know about that later. And then the small programs run very well. Instead of creating large monolithic programs that try to do everything, Linux philosophy prefers small focused utilities that excel at one specific task. The power comes from combining these simple tools. For instance, you have a separate commands for listing files, searching text, and processing data, but you can chain them together to create a complex operation. Strong permission and user control. Linux implements rigorous security through its permission system. Every file and process has specific access rights that control who can read, write, or execute it. This multi-layered protection prevents unauthorized access while giving administrators the complete control over the system. Now, the Linux file system, hierarchical tree, the Windows versus Linux organization, as is mentioned here. In Windows, you're familiar, like how in Windows we have like the C drive, the D, and like we can what do you call it, like distribute it into another drives as well. But apart from that, they represent separate storage devices, and each drive maintains its own independent structure. Linux takes a different approach. The root directory is the single starting point for everything. All storage devices, hardware components, and system resources are mounted over this unified hierarchy. There's no concept of separate drives. Instead, everything appears as one giant tree structure, as is shown in this image over here. This design keeps the system organized and predictable. No matter what distribution you use, you'll always find configuration files in /etc, user data in /home, and system binaries in /bin. This consistency makes Linux much more easier to manage across different servers and environments. Now, as some examples were given, these are some examples. Now, the main thing that you know why many people prefer Linux is this: the terminal, command line interference, CLI. The terminal, also called as the CLI, is a text-based way to interact with your computer. Instead of clicking icons, dragging windows, or selecting menu items, as you have to do in the with the GUI system, the graphical user interface. You just type commands in the terminal and you receive text-based responses. And we'll see about that later as well. I'll just explain it over there. While this might seem intimidating at first, it's actually incredibly powerful and efficient once you understand the basics and remember the commands as well. Like this is why many developers like the terminal, because of its like the typing commands thing is faster in many ways than like navigating through multiple menus and dialog boxes. Precise control, you have exact control over what commands execute and what parameters they use. Automation capabilities, you can write scripts to automate repetitive tasks that would be the tedious work with a mouse. Remote server access, when managing servers, the terminal provides direct command line access without needing a graphical interface. Resource light, the terminal based operations use minimal system resources. Thus, they sort of like developers often tend to do like many things at once. So this let's say like is like really light on your system, RAM, memory. So they prefer this as well. And then like one common thing like this is as is mentioned here, the terminal is in scary part. This is why many people like who don't actually like know about Linux very well, they seem to get scared of the terminal only, like the many lines of, let's say, like commands and different things that you might not understand. They think it's like that. The many like so as just written here, many beginners see the terminal and immediately think I'm going to break my computer if I type something wrong. But this fear is understandable but largely unfounded because most mistakes are easily reversible and the terminal provides feedback before executing potentially destructive commands. The key is learning the right commands and understanding what they do. Within an hour of practice, you will find yourself navigating as comfortably with the terminal as you do with a file browser, except for the remove command. Everything is like easily reversible. And this is a like a tip of when we are typing the commands in the terminal. If you just press tab, it like most of the time it completes the command for you. Essential navigation commands. Now these three commands are highly essential. We'll see about that later as well. Let you move around your entire system. Number one is PWD, which is the print working directory. This lets you know like where you are, like when you like enter the file system and like different files and you get lost, as in like which file you are in, which like the address of the file in which you are in currently, then you just write in PWD and it will print the directory for you in which file or folder you are in. The ls list directory contents, it is for when you have entered a specific file and you want to like access have a preview of its contents, like not a preview but just like you just want a list of the contents of that folder. So you just type in ls and it gives you all the contents. Cd is change directory, which lets you enter and exit different folders. This is just a practice exercise. Now these are file and directory operations. Okay, so number one is touch, which lets you create new files, and mkdir make directory, which lets you create a new path. Is it okay? So it's a new folder, a new file system. CP is copy files, MV is move, and RM is remove files. This is the function that I was talking about. These are some important safety notes, which is like this one was mentioned earlier as well, which is like use the tab button to complete your commands and then review before executing. This is a tip actually because Linux does not have that recycle bin option. So anything you delete, like it just straight away it just removes it from your computer. So it is like obviously beneficial if you like check first before removing something, before using the rm command. Recovery is difficult as it's mentioned over here. Now why every tech student and professional needs these Linux skills? because like these are some just like examples of where these skills like can like really help you. The backend development portion with production servers for web applications almost exclusively run on Linux. Understanding Linux helps you deploy, debug, and maintain your applications in the environments where they will actually run. DevOps and cloud modern infrastructure relies on Linux-based systems for containers, Docker's orchestration, Kubernetes, infrastructure as code tools. These technologies dominate the cloud computing. Cybersecurity security professionals use Linux distributions like Kali Linux for penetration testing and security auditing. The permission model and transparency make it ideal for security work. Now, server management, whether managing dedicated servers, virtual machines, or cloud instances, administrative tasks happen through Linux terminals. Remote server access requires command line proficiency. As for the real world career impact, these were also like a part of the real world career impact only, but uh, like knowledge of Linux helps in here as well, like technical interviews where they can ask you like straight away, like ask you whether like a question which can tell them whether you know about Linux or not, as in like up to a certain extent. And then the broad applicability. Linux skills transfer across different distributions and environments. Once you understand the fundamentals, moving between the different distributions of Linux is pretty straightforward. And then the problem solving mindset and the open source foundation. These are some things. Now, one thing that I'm going to show you here is to, let's say, like a demo sort of how we can mm, like install Linux and some like basic things about it. The first thing is we need, now this is just for practice. I'm not gonna like replace my Windows OS with that. For that, I'm just gonna be using a VirtualBox, which is a virtual machine from Oracle. Now, if you just download it, I've already uploaded it. I will show you just now. And then after this, you need to download Ubuntu as well. Just a second. From here, we can download Ubuntu as well. And then what we do is we just open it up over here. This is the VirtualBox, the virtual machine. We go to here, machine, and then we click the new option. We can just name it as, let's say, like machine one. Now here we are just gonna allocate it from some of, say like, we're gonna allocate it some memory and space from our system. If you want, as I've heard, if you want a smooth running virtual machine, that you need to at least allocate this much for this. And since I'm not going to be using it very much, I'm just going to give it 10 gigabytes of space. Next. I think that's it. Now, if we go over here, I seem to have forgotten how I need to like put in the Ubuntu on the OS that I downloaded. I think that is going to be it for my presentation. I'm really sorry. I forgot about how to let's see.
All right, Farhan. Not an issue. You can share some steps if you wanted to.
Okay, I will.
So thanks, Farhan. You explained really well, and even after the technical issues, you handled everything very smoothly and continued confidently. That was great to see you, and the session was really amazing. So this was really solid introduction to Linux that everyone need to know, especially the way you explained basics so well. I think you have covered almost the basics, every basics of the Linux, and it's good to know what actually run behind the scenes. So much of the text today well presented, and I think you have explained all the commands, and if any of you feel scared about the terminal commands, is like what is this black screen and what people are typing is pwd cd, I didn't understand much what are they. So I think after the session you will be get familiar what are they, and even after practice you can also do that. So I think it's the question time. So if anyone have any question, you can just ask to the presenters related to their topics. You can just unmute yourself for asking the question. Okay, I don't think so. We have any questions. Um, any other info any of the presenter wanted to share? Okay, so I request all the presenter to mention their topics in the doc so that sorry, community member can also access them and go through that. And we have also sharing the recordings of the session on YouTube, so you can just watch it after the session. We will be posting in 2 or 3 days after the session, so you can do that. And if any of you still not mark the attendance, do that. So session like these are simple, small, and knowledge packed are exactly what help us to grow together as a community. So looking forward to see you and more of you present in the upcoming session. And if you are facing any issue in particular topic related to your coursework or anything, you can just mention in the community, so we will be covering that in the next developer spotlight session. So let's end the session and see you at 28th Feb mostly. Have a nice weekend, guys. Bye bye.
Bye. Hey.